Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Megan Nelson, aka Crypto Megan, back after a pretty long hiatus from YouTube, but I'm coming back strong. I've got an amazing episode for you all today with Trip, the lead analyst from Capital Mindset that has been leading us through this entire bull market. And I have a lot of updates. I've been to many countries in the past 90 days, from Ibiza to Paris to Dubai to Canada, then New York, San Diego, LA, and Vegas, guys. It has been jam-packed. I've interviewed some of the top guys in the space, including yours truly, Charles Hoskinson, also Eric from Proppy, Kevin O'Leary, the mayor of New York. We have got such an amazing podcast season coming up for you. And I'm also going to drop a lot of that alpha in our group, the Capital Mindset. So do sign up to that. We'll be discussing today all things Bitcoin, because we need to know what's happening with Bitcoin to kind of get a sense of the overall market. And we're going to let you know, one of the most interesting charts you have seen. Trip is going to go over it with you, some key dates, as well as what we can expect based on certain levels in the market, and 4 juicy altcoin charts. So we're going to fill you in basically on everything that's been happening since I've been gone, keep you updated, and then I'll be doing my daily YouTubes again, so you guys can look forward to that. And without further ado, I'd love to welcome my co-host today, Trip. Trip, welcome to the show.
Hey, Megan. Thank you. How are you?
Good. It's been way too long. People have been asking about you and wondering. And now we're finally back. It's just because I've been traveling, but you have been updating the group nonstop and doing an amazing job at that. And it's a very interesting time in the market now.
Yeah, right now it's getting interesting. We definitely have like a bigger pattern forming for Bitcoin. We're getting really high up there as far as like the movement's been going. It's been steadily climbing for the past 2 years now. A lot of people are anticipating a bigger pullback, and we're going to just talk about reasons today why what we're looking for and how that might not have to happen. We're just really going to cover to see what we can see for Bitcoin right now, at least in the short term.
Right. And just today was a big FOMC meeting. Guys, rates are remain unchanged. The Fed did not change the rates, and market expectations, were pretty much that. But the tone was pretty dovish. As Jerome Powell says, the economy is in a solid position. So Trip, first off, did you expect some sort of movement today? Or are we kind of just range bound, or just guide us a little bit through what's actually happening with Bitcoin right now?
Yeah, so the federal rate today, we weren't really expecting any changes. So as the news came out today, too, there weren't any changes to the rate. So usually you get some short-term volatility, at least in this, you get some bounces, some red candles on the really low time frames. But as far as the bigger picture is concerned, we haven't really seen any change yet. So right now we're just watching this key support, and we're going to pull that chart up in a second and talk about it. But yeah, right now I think everything's fine, but we're sort of in a neutral stage. It's kind of a 50-50 idea that we're going to go over.
Right. And it feels like there's so much bearishness in the markets, or just fear in general. Although it seems that there's a different perspective on this end. So, I'm not going to give any more away. I just want you to pull up the charts now. Let's see what's in the charts and see what we could potentially be expecting in the next coming weeks to months, and what to look out for. So I'll pull up your first chart here.
Perfect. Yeah, this is the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. So we can't really see a whole lot yet. It looks like a sim triangle. We could see a lot more of this pattern develop over time. Very common to see this extend further, and maybe we'll build a falling wedge if this next move happens to the break to the downside, for example. Really, we just don't have a whole lot of structure yet. We're getting close to being able to draw this as a sim triangle. These have a 50-50 chance of breaking to the upside or to the downside. So this point of control at the 0.272 level, that's at about 103,800 for Bitcoin. We need to see this level hold, at least in the short term, hold that as support for this pattern to stay valid the way it's drawn currently. If this level were to be lost, then we're going to start looking for different ideas and bigger structures. What we don't want to see, what we don't want to see for the bulls is a double top formation that might form on top of here as well. And we don't really have a lot of data quite yet to see if this is a bullish or a bearish idea, just because of the nature of a sim triangle that could break in either direction.
Right. Okay. So, we are above the big psychological number of 100K. We've been holding above it so far. That's bullish in itself. But let's see what happens with the symmetrical triangle, and let's have a look at some of the other charts you have ready for us.
For sure. Yeah. Let's just quickly, we'll talk about the support level we're looking for next. We've been trying to break above 100K for Bitcoin for a while. Like if you look to the left, there was a lot of times that we broke above 100K in this area, but it wasn't able really to hold that level, that support. So this would be the first time we're actually trying to hold it, where we've significantly broken above it, and it hasn't come down to test any lower than 100K on this run up, on this cycle, on this pattern, I should say. So that 100K level is definitely going to be a key support that we need to pay attention to. It'll be the first time that we've held it as support in this scenario. So that could be the springboard to the next move higher, where we go to maybe 110 again, maybe 120 further down the road. But yeah, that's definitely the line in the sand for now, is that 100K level acting as support for the current structure.
Okay.
Next one we're going to talk about, this is the Bitcoin one-day chart with the previous golden crosses that we had. We had another chart posted a while ago, and it went way back into the history of these golden crosses. So you had another one back here. This was in September of 2021. You had some shorter term golden crosses over here in 2020, and then just before the COVID dip, you had it in February of 2020. And then the previously back here was a pretty decent one, April of 2019. So now we're looking at these most recent 3 golden crosses for the Bitcoin one-day chart. The one we had down at the bottom, that was in 2023. That led to a decent move of about 37%. And then the one that we had that followed in November of 2023, that led to a 117% move after the cross. And then most recently, we had another golden cross in October of 2024, and that led to a 67% move. So now, again, we've just seen our newest golden cross again on the Bitcoin chart. So the upside could be pretty significant. We're looking somewhere maybe within a range. You could say this would be the lowest potential, and maybe up to 117% would be your highest potential. Not saying it's going to be either one of these. It could be bigger, it could be smaller, but it kind of gives you an idea that these are definitely something worth trading at the very least, right? To make a profit.
I mean, a 37% move is a pretty decent move, even if it were to be that move on the lower end, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we just need to see if this 50 MA over here is going to hold as local support. And that would be another sign that adds up, that lines up with our point of control from this 4-hour chart. So if you were to add in the 50 MA on the one day here, it's pretty much sitting in the exact same area that we're trying to hold. So you got some confluence for support here, but again, we need to see a little more information to see if it's going to hold or not.
Right.
The next one we have, this is a screenshot of a Gantt chart that we had. We posted this one in June on the 9th of 2025. And this area here that we're focused on it's called an inflection point. It's where all these lines meet. So you have diagonal lines, you got horizontal lines, and you have a vertical line all coming together in this one little area. So if we zoom
before you go further into that though, Trip, you're talking about it so casually, but I've never seen this chart in any other place. This is really actually very phenomenal. So it's exciting to go over different ideas and bring different levels of confluence in. In fact, we actually had a member that came through and just let us know that he really enjoyed different charts like this. But yeah, this is actually something really cool. So I just wanted to hype this up a little bit because I'm excited about things like this and different things that we look at here in the Capital Mindset. So
for sure. Yeah. Some of it's just second nature to me now. I don't really think of how amazing it can be to people who aren't familiar. But definitely. So this is just, you're setting up a grid for the most part, and it just lets you plot certain dates and certain prices, and they could line up at given times where you're looking for points where they come together. And that's really what an inflection point is. It's when everything meets up and says, okay, you've got everything in this little area. Let's focus on what's going to happen next. So if we zoom in, we're going to zoom into this little area here, and we're going to take a look to see what it looks like on the I think this is a 12-hour chart, so a little more zoomed in. You get a better picture of what's going on. Now, we've highlighted this red circle within this green box to focus right here at this exact spot for this inflection point. So we're waiting to see, right? I posted in the group, pay attention here. We're looking for something to happen. These inflection points don't really get interacted with too often, but when they do, they can often equate to a significant move coming. And I'll go over some of those too in the following charts that we're going to look at in a second here. So now we're going to look at the result of this one.
Okay.
This was posted a couple days later on the 13th. And as you can see, right where this circle is, we got that massive pullback on Bitcoin right at the inflection point. So again, it's just another example of what we've been looking at in the group. This was one of the most exciting ones that we've had. Definitely wasn't a good scenario for the bulls, but still the timing allowed us to be prepared for the move that came.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like spot on the day. In fact, I'm just going to read over this message from one of our group members. Says, "Hey there, Trip. Just wanted to message you to say that I'm totally blown away about how you called the inflection point on June 13th since March 1st." Okay, that's the other important part of this. The fact that your TA literally predicted that something was going to happen on June 13th is totally mind blowing, considering this is the exact date the war started in Iran and all that stuff. So, what are the odds? Yeah, a little bit of a coincidence there. Surely makes one wonder. So, this is this a bigger chessboard going on? I mean, the guy in our group was super happy, and this is what we try to do: give members different perspectives on things happening with original charts that can add to the confluence of what's actually happening. And it's pretty cool that this did happen. So keep up the good work and hope you guys, are doing amazing. So a lot of happy members. It's great to see a lot of new faces as we're gearing up for potentially another big move with altcoins and Bitcoin. And people are just wanting to learn how to have these skills, how to trade, and to be in on this with us, Trip. So it's been an extraordinary ride.
Yeah, definitely. It's getting a lot of fun. It's for entertainment value at the same time. It's kind of interesting to see a prediction come true right in front of your eyes. So that also adds a little bit of fun to the whole thing as well.
Right.
The next one we're going to look at, this is a previous chart. This was from
Ooh, this
September
one is
11th.
crazy.
Yeah, this is from September 11th in 2023 when I first posted this. So it's another example of an inflection point. So it doesn't have all the diagonal lines, but you definitely had these. This is a shorter term chart, essentially. So you don't have as many data points as the previous one. So if I zoom up back to this one again, you can see this is pretty crazy. But this covers a wide area of time and price. So this one over here that we're looking at is more isolated. It doesn't have as much going on, but it also makes it easier to find these inflection points, right? They don't happen all the time, but when they do happen, you want to pay attention just the same. So we're going to
Right.
zoom into this little green circle on the next chart here. Right here, perfect. So now we've got the zoomed in picture, and that was that same chart in that moment in time. We were looking for something to happen after this point. And just to go over what an inflection point is, we're going to look at this little message. I just pulled this up on Google, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
it just explains what an inflection point is. So in a broader context, like business or technology, an inflection point refers to a critical moment where significant change occurs. So this could be anything that happens in business, or it could happen on a chart. As it says here, it could also be like a disruptive innovation or a market shift. Think of it as a turning point where the rules of the game change. So this
Ooh,
is just
I
a
like
basic rundown of what's to expect when you see those inflection points.
right.
So we'll go back to here. This was the before image, and then this is the move that we got after that. So the Bitcoin
Wow,
went
look
from
at that. Look
25,000.
at that. Let us know in the comments what you think of this, first of all, and if you've seen this type of analysis anywhere else, because I'm telling you, I haven't. I think this is phenomenal. I like that you put a fresh perspective out there for people. I mean, this is spot on. I mean, it's kind of crazy how accurate that was, whether it be to the upside or the downside. I mean, it's very, very spot on that something, in fact, did happen there.
Yeah, it's wild to see it, right? So Gann charts are a little more complicated. You can go and learn about these specifically, but you kind of have to have a background in TA first to know why and where you're pulling these different points on the charts to create a chart like this. So once you've got all that narrowed down, then you can start playing in this field and things start to get really interesting. So the next one we're going to take a look at, this was another Gann chart that we had from June 20th in 2023. And this is a really big picture chart. This is a 1 week chart, right? So this is all the way back to 2018 at the top. So the top back here to the bottom down here, just before 2019, this square is actually what this whole chart is extrapolated off from. So this square means it's the same amount of time and price times 4 to the right, and then times 4 if you're going up and down. So what we're looking for is these cycles, the same thing with these inflection points. We had a button that even said press here on the Bitcoin chart on December 4th of 2023. So we're
Wow.
essentially looking for a move to that
Last
inflection
year.
point because it was right there, right within
Right.
our grasp. Now we're going to look at the next chart for the result. And this is a massively zoomed out just to show you
Wow.
the
Look
scale
at
of this
that.
chart. But this was that green circle from that
That's
previous chart.
phenomenal. It looks like a bullseye. You
Yeah, well,
know?
it's a springboard at the same time too, right? So once you've hit
Right.
that button, everything changed, everything exploded for Bitcoin. So that was a really exciting day as well. And this is stuff that we post in the group all the time. They're different ideas. It's not just like triangles and wedges or fibs. It's another level of TA that's really adds a lot of confluence to other ideas that are happening.
Right.
So we'll take a look at the next one. Now, this is that same chart. This is updated recently. So this is June 16th chart
Hmm.
where I took this screenshot from. And now we're going to zoom into this tiny little area here on the following chart. So now you
Okay.
can see again here, you got another inflection point. You have a horizontal level and you have all these diagonal lines coming in. So we've highlighted this area with the box and the same thing with that red circle. So
Hmm.
this is exactly where we put in the low for Bitcoin. This is when we came down to test that, well, pretty much at 100K is where we tested. And that was the
Right.
low of the structure so far. Perfectly, like vertically lined up. It was exactly where it should have been. So
Wow.
the idea here is that since the reaction we had before from this chart, where it came down to test that level at an inflection point, we're
Right.
looking for the same kind of thing to happen here. And now that we've tested it with a huge wick,
Right.
essentially this means that this could be another springboard to much higher movement for Bitcoin's prices.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a pretty cool candle there, right in the inflection point. Man, you can't make this stuff up. This is unique to the capital mindset, and this is just one kind of analysis of many different kinds. And we have, Trip is such a talented analyst. We've got other analysts, Leverage Group. If you guys want to learn how to trade, if you want to see these in real time, sign up to the group now. It'll be one of the best things you could do for yourself, for your training, for your life skills. The link is in the description below, and it's just actually a phenomenal time to get started with this in the market. So yeah, really really cool things that I'm seeing here.
Yeah, it's exciting. So, part of the narrative that unfolds at the same time, it's really interesting how the narrative will often line up with these same pinpoints on the charts. So, that's also part of the entertainment value as well that's added to it. So, you're not just watching charts, you kind of get to see a story unfold. And that's a really big part of it for me as well.
Right.
Next one we're going to look at, we're going to jump over to Bitcoin dominance on the 4-hour chart. So this has been really hard to trade for altcoins lately. So since about May 19th of 2025, we've been ranging higher in this rising channel. So you get short-term pullbacks equals a pretty decent move on an altcoin, but then those gains could be erased or it just rolls over as soon as you get that bounce again on dominance. So
Right.
this whole time you get a pump and then a dump on alts, and you get a pump and then a dump on alts, and this has been happening over and over. So it could be really frustrating if you're trying to trade altcoins during this choppy range on dominance. So we
Right.
really need to see if this is going to break higher. And in that instance, you're definitely expecting Bitcoin to do something incredible, whether it's to the downside or to the upside. But dominance breaking higher from a rising channel is definitely not a good sign for altcoins at all. So the
Right.
only thing we can hope for is we get a rejection from this upper trend line and this rising channel breaking to the downside, as it should. The odds say it should break. There's a 68% chance that it does break to the downside. So
Right.
breaking to the upside would be exceptional, but we could have a really good altcoin movement if this channel breaks down, even if this just trends lower to the bottom channel again, or the
Right.
bottom of the channel again.
I
This
mean, those
previous
small
move back
moves
here,
equal big, big moves in altcoins. It's a different game now with Bitcoin dominance, and um, it's just been kind of crazy to see how much the altcoins move off of such a small movement downward with Bitcoin dominance.
definitely. So this move back here where we had this is a significant move, definitely a lot bigger than the little pullbacks that we've had along the way in this channel. But this is when Pepe shot up for, I think it was at about 50% up at around this point from the chart. So that's a Pepe chart. That's a large market cap coin. And that's what you need is you need dominance to give up a lot of dominance for those large caps to really start pumping. And then if
Mm-hmm.
you zoom out, we're going to look at this whole range down here, or this dip to the downside, and see what that looks like when you zoom out. Now, that red candle is
Mm-hmm.
all it took for that Pepe chart to pop up 50,
Wow,
60, 70%, whatever it did.
that's
But
wild.
that's all it was, though, right? It's this one red candle. So now it gives you an idea of how big the moves can be if dominance was to roll over and start doing the big pullback, something like
Right.
this, where it's like truly an alt season. So to
Right.
start calling alt season now, it's really too hard to say that. I mean, dominance is going up steadily since 2023. So to say that alt season is just around the corner, I mean, I don't want to be that guy that cries wolf every time you get a tiny little pullback on dominance. But I mean, I do think that one of these is coming eventually, but I think it's way too early to say that it's happening now or anywhere in the short term. So
Right.
we're definitely going to have to be trading those smaller pullbacks where you get these red candles on the weekly. Maybe you get 1 to 2, 3 weeks, maybe a month of trading altcoins where it's good. But really, that's all we're depending on right now is those small windows of time.
Right. So you can trade those ranges and then wait for the bigger break for altcoins to really have their day in the sun.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of altcoins now, they're accumulating still on the bottoms. A lot of the older coins that have been around for a while, they're still pretty much at the bottom of support. And it's because dominance has been climbing higher. So we're going to see those big patterns start taking off once this starts to finally roll over and give us a decent pullback. Something a little longer than a couple of weeks to a month for sure.
Oh, yeah. And we've got some really juicy altcoin charts for you from some of our top communities. We want to check in, see how those coins are doing. I think we have our first chart ready to go.
Yeah, this is Proppy. Proppy on the 1 week chart. So right now we're just breaking above the 1 day 200 MA, or we did recently, and now we're trying to hold it as support. So this support zone as well, that gray bar, this is also acting as support locally. So that 200 MA is coming into the picture at the same time. We're expecting some kind of a bounce here, and if this bounce does hold, then we'd be looking for probably some decent uptrend movement coming for Proppy.
Wow. Okay, so the next level on the higher time frame here is $3.99. Obviously, there's a lot of support resistance along the way, but I mean, this is more than a 700% move to the top of the measured move.
Right. The double bottom measured move would be around $7.75. So long term, definitely Pro's got a long way to go from where it is now.
Oh, yeah. And Pro has a lot of updates, by the way. You know, I've been involved with Proppy for a long time, and I've been seeing what they're building, and it's absolutely phenomenal. They've been around since 2017, so I am super bullish. I hold Pro. I'm betting on Pro. That's my personal stance. And, you know, they just got announced on KuCoin. They just got onto Revolut, which is a pretty massive thing as well. I mean, it's over 30 countries that people can now buy and hold Pro in. And the fact is, when a newbie comes, when a normie comes, the first thing they're going to do is look at Revolut, look at Robinhood, look at Coinbase, and Pro is on all of those. It's also the leading RWA real estate narrative, and it's got so much going for it. So it's made in the US. It's the only US utility token for high value assets, backed by a profitable, proven US company. So this is what everybody's focused on now. Like, where you guys have seen those charts on, you know, all the social media that show all the overlaps of these important narratives that we may be looking at when altcoin season comes back. And so they're driving the movement of ownership on chain. They processed 10 billion plus. I just want to highlight all this because it's like there aren't a lot of companies right now actually making this real world progress. And it's actually pretty phenomenal to me. So the last thing I want to say is I'm pretty bullish on buying Pro under $1 because there are major announcements coming this summer. They're calling it Proppy Summer. We're all calling it Proppy Summer. They've only done 2 out of 5 of those announcements. It recently got listed on KuCoin, which is a major exchange. That's pretty big. So now there's chatter of, you know, it's on KuCoin, it's on Coinbase. They're starting to get listed. What'll be next? Could it be Binance? Could it be Kraken? I just want to like put this out there for you guys because there's something big news coming, and I just want you guys to be at the forefront of that and just know the things that I've seen on my tour. So I'll say the same things about Cardano, what I've learned from talking to Charles Hoskinson, but you know, and also the rest. But I'm just so bullish on this and what they're doing. They just had the first Bitcoin backed sold home in Hawaii. So that was using Bitcoin as collateral. So you don't have to sell your Bitcoin actually to get a property. You can just use it as collateral for the first time. And all of these things are super cool to me. As you guys know, I'm bullish on RWAs. I'm building my own for ATH Vodka and ATH Rewards. So these kind of things and use cases I love to highlight. And sorry that I cut you off so much here, Trip, but I just wanted to highlight all the fundamentals that I'm aware of to pair with the chart. So that's why it gets me excited.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to pair up for sure. Anything with news coming or a project that's still building and it's still exciting, those are going to be the projects to pay attention to over the rest of the market. The market is so heavily diluted with so many altcoins that you need to be doing something in order to stay in the game. So definitely one to pay attention to for that reason specifically.
Yeah, and let's see what the next announcement is. I mean, I'm excited. I'm ready. I like that people are delivering on what they're saying they're going to do. And so that's what makes it exciting on all fronts to me.
Definitely. We can take a look at the last setup here. This is it's a page that's got 3 charts on it. We're going to look at Cardano first, just because everyone's been asking about Cardano. ADA usually follows Bitcoin to some degree. So since Bitcoin's been kind of choppy in the range that we talked about at the beginning of the video, ADA has been slowly just crawling lower inside of this descending channel. Now, the key thing is that this key support around 51 cents or 52 cents for ADA. This is where we put in the previous low. So really the one thing that we need to see is if this prints a higher low while it's in this channel and it doesn't come any lower than this, because that would maintain this uptrend reversal idea. So the falling wedge already has a 68% chance of breaking higher. We're not really close to a breakout level yet, but we could be closer to maybe a support entry if you get the chance. But again, you want to watch for that higher low, and that's when I would start to be more aggressive with my entries for ADA.
Right. And I'm so excited to get this podcast out that I did with Charles Hoskinson. As you guys know, I love him as a leader here in crypto space and just a brilliant mind in Web3. And they're bringing Bitcoin, they're bringing DeFi to Bitcoin. All right. And that is a very cool concept in itself. It can unlock just so much liquidity and be such a big use case for getting a lot more movement and volume on chain for Cardano. And so there's a lot of obviously very bullish fundamentals there as well. So this chart also makes me very excited.
Yeah, definitely. ADA's always been a favorite in the group. We've been trading it for years. We had a lot of fans. Some people in the group had millions of ADA when it was sub penny levels still. So there's definitely a lot of fans and people that have been, keeping up with the growth of it as it's been going.
Yeah, so I think we even might have done, for all you Cardano gang family, a Nike pig chart back in the day for our members. So when altcoins were kind of having their moment in the sun and memes were raging, maybe they'll come back. But I know there were a lot of people who held Nike as well. So shout out to Nike. And yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, Nike Pig. So that's another good chart too. It's got a decent structure. So I think definitely once ADA starts to take off, that's when Nike might start seeing some better movement too. And we'll have a chart for that later on too.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
The next one we're looking for, this is the theta chart. Not too different than the ADA chart, really. You're in that same kind of descending channel and you're approaching support and we're watching for that higher low. So the previous low was put in over here in April, around the 20th to the 22nd or so. So now if you come down to the support again and it stays a little higher than this previous low, that could be your first sign that this trend is trying to reverse direction. Otherwise, you're waiting for just the break of the channel. Same idea, 68% chance of a break to the upside, or you're looking for a break of the 0.272, which might end up being in the same place. Oftentimes, these trend lines will line up with these resistance levels, and you're not just looking for a break of the trend line alone. It also breaks above a major fib level at the same time. So you have a little bit of confluence there that we're going to be looking for. So we know a lot of theta users. They've been constantly supporting us on our X page and asking for theta charts to see what's going to happen next. And we've been keeping them fairly updated. We had this first move back here. There was a divergence on theta. I think it was from this swing to this swing, and we managed to catch a decent move out of theta. We can measure that out now just to see how much of a move we caught from, we'll say pretty much from this level of support. And that was about a 66% move, 67%. So now we're forming, potentially this could turn into a double bottom. So if we pull the curve tool out and we highlight this bottom, we'll clone it for the other side. Now you're looking at a double bottom structure. So if this channel does break to the upside, we're aiming for a move up to the 2.0 fib level. That would be the measured move of this double bottom. And that could be at $1.49, basically $1.50 for theta. So in our previous videos, we were talking about pay attention. If we get another chance to buy down here near support, this might be your last chance to get in before it starts to take off.
All right, so all you theta fans, now you have it. This is just the interim. I believe theta could go much, much higher this year. We've also got some very, very bullish fundamentals happening in the background. I mean, the thing that I get excited about all these charts that Tripp has picked out for us today is that all of them are in my realm, in my communities that I follow very closely. And I'm looking to do a podcast with Mitch Liu, the founder of Theta. And also, I know that Digital Dave, Crazy for Cryptos, I know a lot of you are watching this YouTuber, also subscribe to my channel. We'll be doing a party, like it's $19.99. Also, if Theta hits $9.99, he's doing a party in Thailand. I know people are super excited about it. There's a lot of adoption happening for Theta, so I'll do a whole video just on Theta. But this is just a quick chart to keep you updated on what to expect in the near future.
Perfect. Last one we have today, this is for our ape fans as well. So we're looking for a break above the 200 MA and resistance level here. And as I mentioned before with theta, sometimes you get a confluence of resistance, right? So this 200 MA is coming into the picture at the same time that it's near this resistance zone. So the safe play right now, you could probably start scaling in a little bit here, but you want to see that confirmation break above the 1-day 200 MA just because it's just overhead. You're really not missing much of a move. It's going from 62 cents up to 80 cents. Once that's confirmed, then we're looking for a move up to about $2. Now, the same thing here for Ape. This could be a double bottom idea, but the only difference is that this low is higher than this low. So this is a lower low in the structure. So there could be a chance that further on down the road, you might see a move up to this level, and then for some reason, we'll see a pullback in the market again to put in that next higher low. So even if you miss this first entry, you might get another chance when it's trying to make that big trend changing reversal idea. Maybe you get a retest of the 1-day 200 MA, but for now, we're just aiming for the top of this range locally. So that's still a pretty decent move up to about $2. So from here to $2, you're still talking about a 210% move just in the short term. So that's a pretty decent trade just for Ape. The reason why we're looking at Ape also is because the 2-week chart is showing a very big bullish divergence on the RSI. So when you see a divergence this big, these usually end up equating to a pretty decent move. You had another one back here. So if you pulled this back to this previous swing, and then you pulled this back to this previous swing, you can see the same effect that we got from Ape the first time. So this first 2-week bullish divergence from the bottom, that ended up being a 296% move. So that 200% move we were just talking about, that's lining up with the same signals. You got the same divergence. We're only trading it up to resistance or so in this area, up to $2, like we mentioned. So still, that repeating idea could be in play again with this massive bullish divergence coming for Ape.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's really exciting. That was a big move. So it looks like, really bullish things on the horizon. Let's see how they play out. But I'm really liking the Ape chart. Ape Chain, all you Ape fans, family, do follow, subscribe, share this so more people see this. I know there a lot is being built on Ape Chain, and we've got Ape Fest coming up in Vegas in October. Let me know if you're going in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you there. And I think on that note, that concludes our video today, Trip. So it was really, really exciting going through all the news with you and the different charts. And it's great to be back, fam. It's been really fun. And we're going to just keep you updated constantly now. So do check out the group in the link below. And we hope to have you as a new member. And otherwise, you can follow along here on YouTube. And Trip, thank you so much for being here today.
No worries. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.